Biotic amp interface mode.
Biotic amp what? What the fuck does that even mean? Hey people, it's Teal Gamer. Welcome to another edition of Shitty Development featuring Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, for those of you not familiar with my series, I'll give you a quick rundown on what this is. Basically, while other people are complaining about the graphics and, frame rate drops or whatever the hell else it is, I'm actually talking about things that impact the ability to actually play the game by poor decisions left by the development team that somehow leaked their way into the game that hardcore fans and the development team seem to think are not actual problems. So they trash the video, and instead of blaming the developer or looking at what I'm saying as facts, they basically will trash these videos and do everything in their power to bury it. So if this video pisses you off, too fucking bad, don't watch it. Without further ado, let me get right into the video. So let me start with the character customization, because in any game, this screen is most important because everything you would do to the character and how you build it directly impacts the game, which actually affects the way the game is played. If you do not have the proper information in here because the developers didn't bother breaking anything down or explaining anything, you can't effectively build a character, which affects you from being able to play the game properly for that character. And veteran players and people familiar with the series and games in general simply don't get this concept, and they basically said, well, that's not important, not understanding that just because you know it, that doesn't matter. That's not going to help a new player who knows nothing about these things to come in, effectively build a character, and play it. That's why there were complaints on forums, and that's why I'm making this video. So, while Mass Effect Andromeda did a much better job of explaining things as far as, certain that Mass Effect 2 or 3 didn't explain, it's still just as bad as Mass Effect 2 or 3 because the developers didn't really explain anything that's going to help a newer player. So, for example, I'm going to go into Choose Training and look up Biotic. This is a character customization screen. I have no clue to what the hell a Biotic is. Now, whether or not anybody thinks that's not important isn't relevant. I think it is important because how do I know I want to use that? I have no idea what that is because nowhere in here on this screen, where it should be, did the developers ever explain to you what the definition of that is. Again, veteran players are not going to have an issue with this. They're going to say, how do you not know what that is? That's because I don't play this series, and why should I have information withheld because you guys don't need it? I cannot effectively decide whether or not I want to do this, so I'm blindly picking something and going into a game that's quite long that I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. That also brings me to the point on, if you're going to classify two separate things under one category, such as starting power and unlock skills, every single one of these have it, they're inside the governing umbrella screen of, let's say, Biotic has starting powers and unlock skills. The game nowhere differentiates how a power is different from a skill, and it doesn't explain anything about that. And again, veteran players are like, how do you not know what the difference of that is? Or that's not important. You don't dictate to me what I think is important, all right? I dictate what's important. And on top of that, if the game doesn't differentiate why a power is different from a skill, I classify them as the exact same thing. You can argue with me all you want that they're not. That doesn't matter, because nowhere in here does the game tell you at any given point in time how a power is different from a skill. I can argue that powers are skills and skills are powers and be right on that until a definition is given. Now, does that make me right or wrong? That's not relevant. The fact of the matter is, the issue is that it's not explained. So, let me get out of this and go into a few additional areas that are just absolutely ridiculous, that have no business being in the screen, or I shouldn't say they have no business being in the screen. They shouldn't be in here without an explanation. Customized twin. Why do you even have a twin? There's no information about why you have a twin in the screen. Now, if you want to roll over and do this, that's fine. I'm not questioning that it's here. I'm questioning why it's here. That brings me to the customization history. What purpose does this serve? They could at least explain on here, or some, message popping up over this, why you would even do this. Does this impact the game? If not, only players who played this series know what the hell this means. I don't know what this means, but that doesn't change anything because the game developer should have explained this screen. So let me get out of here and go into a few additional things, because I'm actually going to go into the game itself now and point something out. So I'm going to pause this and then restart it when I get into the game. Okay, so it says press tab to open the weapon wheel, which is what I'm going to do now. Now, before getting into the segment, I am forewarning everybody that this segment is going to get very nasty. I'm going to use very nasty voice tones. I'm going to be swearing. I'm going to get extremely vulgar, and I'm doing a no holds barred, and I'm doing that for a very specific reason. That reason is because when I talk about situations like this or bring it up, gamers will come into the forum or any place else and become so irritating by putting up these comments that this is the only real way to speak to them to get the point across. So I'm again warning you, if you have kids in the room, you might want to move them out or listen to this at some other time. So I'm just letting you know that that's how this segment's going to get for that reason. So that being said, let me get right into it. All right, so first we have the weapon wheel. Equip weapons from the top of the wheel or choose a consumable from the bottom of the wheel. Now, for the uninformed, that is not a tutorial and it's not an instruction. Why I bring that up is because these stupid fucking gamers say, "Did you read the tutorial?" Shut the fuck up. Learn what a tutorial is. This says what can be done. It does not contain how to do it. Which brings me to the next point of gamers saying, "Did you move your mouse? Nobody else had a problem. You're the only one bringing this up." The game developer assumes. Shut the fuck up and get fucking lost with those douchebag fucking comments you're posting just to be a complete fucking asshole. If this does not say, move your mouse on the screen, then you don't move your mouse on the screen. Saying you did it because you felt like it or that's what you do, no, that is not what you do. Nowhere on this fucking screen does it tell you to move your mouse. So why you are moving your mouse is fucking retarded. You are retarded for doing that. Trying to make a comment, well, that's just what games do. Shut the fuck up. That is your opinion. That has no relevance or bearing on anything else. And saying, well, other gamers had no problem. Again, shut the fuck up and get fucking lost because those comments make you retarded. It's like you want to you need your head fucking smashed in for making such stupid comments. I don't condone violence. Don't do that. But the point here that I'm making is that the game developer does not give you a complete instruction here. This means a new player is not going to know how to do this. And this is where new players get pissed off at veteran players because veteran players will come up, "Didn't you know what to do?" None of that shit is relevant. Are people that stupid to not understand that regardless of whether you need the instruction or not isn't relevant to the fact that it's still supposed to be on the screen? To say it's not supposed to be on the screen just because you don't need it makes you an idiot. Period. So I just wanted to clarify that. And again, I had to get brash for that reason, for those reasons. It's obvious. Well, that brings me to the next segment here about the map. And then I'm going to close out this video because this is just basically the way it comes out. Now, on the map, I actually overlooked this the first time. So I had no idea that there was even how to access the map because further on down, it basically said press escape to open, press escape and select map. Now the problem with that is nowhere did it give you a keybind that there was also a keybind to open the map. So a new player coming into this only sees the key, says, press escape to access the map. They're not thinking that there is even is a keybind. Now whether or not that's the keybind for tons of other games has no relevance to this. We're not playing other games. We're talking about Mass Effect here. So if you're going to tell the player, press escape, why can't you just say press escape or press M to open the map? But here's the problem with pressing escape. The first thing you're brought to attention that draws your eyes to the outer edges here. You're not paying attention to the entire circle. I actually overlooked that there was a word in the middle of this simply because I wasn't looking for it. I literally overlooked it, and it's basically almost camouflaged. And so if you're looking for this, you're going around the end here, and since you didn't see it, and you don't pay attention to that, guess what? You're not going to go back in there because you already know there's no map option. That is literally what I did because I overlooked that there was a map option in there. Finally, I had to ask somebody, hey, is there a map option here? And they go, yeah, it's in the middle. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even see that. Whether or not anybody thinks I'm stupid for doing that isn't relevant. If the game developer is going to tell you that there's a map, they need to make this blatantly obvious instead of the way it is. Because this is very easily missed. And anybody who says that that's not needs to have their head examined, because missing this is literally the equivalency of missing a doorway, like in, let's say, Fallout 3 or something like that, because if you turn the camera angle at the wrong, if you turn the camera angle properly, or you're not facing the right direction, you absolutely can miss it. So your eyes are never drawn to the middle of this. They're automatically drawn to the outer here, and you're thinking that this section is just nothing more than a design which these surround. And so, if you don't understand why that's a legitimate complaint, you could say, well, this is colorized. You recognize it now because I'm pointing it out. The first time, I actually didn't even see that word there. I didn't even see it. It was basically blended in as far as I'm concerned because I wasn't paying attention to it. So basically, this is just a poor design in general. So I'm just going to end this video here because of just the way things are. And that's really all there is to it. But again, it's like when you're fighting things, if you have all these powers and everything else, and the game can actually tell you to do things like this, or press G or whatever, then they sure as hell can tell you, hey, here's some grenades, or here's some powers, or whatever it is. I have powers and I don't even know how to use them. Why haven't I been shown how to use powers yet? Again, it's like fighting guys, so shouldn't I have that option to fight these things so I know how to do it? That's really all I'm saying. I mean, veteran gamers are going to have a serious problem with everything I'm talking about, but that's not relevant to the fact that everything I'm talking about is a problem for a new player. You can go into denial about that all you want, but it's not fair for a veteran gamer to say a new player is supposed to know this or stuff's obvious when there's no possible way to know what the veteran gamer knows, because the veteran gamer has already been told all the information, so they're taking after the fact knowledge and trying to apply it to a beforehand situation. So that's really all I have to say about this. Please have some consideration for people when you're talking and taking the time to consider what their question is. Don't dismiss something as a troll just to be an asshole. Take the time to consider that they may actually be a new player and they may have problems. So, that being said, this is Teal Gamer, signing off. Have a good day or night wherever you are.